It's the next day. I come out to work on the car, and I thought I'd show you a little recap of what we did. We got one of the manifold off, which I've never done before. Involved taking the throttle body off, obviously the filter's out, battery's out. A lot of the bolts were down here, so we ended up loosening this so it comes forward, but we didn't have to take the aircon off, luckily. Let me show you the bolts on here, because there's not much on YouTube. So there was one here. This is like the back, this is where your throttle body is. There's one at the back. Took the throttle body off with 4 bolts around it. At the back it was just hoses, there was no bolts. I think there might have been a bracket potentially, but I think this was just hoses and clips. We kept this hose on because it was easier to split further down. On this side there was that bolt there, only the one bolt. This is the confusing bit, because you're like shooting in the dark. We've got 1 bolt here, 2 there, 2 there, and then 1 on the end. And then this all comes off as 1 unit. You could disconnect some hoses from your throttle. No, this is the actuator for the flaps inside the intake. I have to admit that was probably the worst intake manifold to be taken off. When I worked on my Audi it was so much easier than that. But yeah, I don't know if you can like design something that it just works a different way, or when you turbo them you take that off and then have a different intake manifold. But yeah, I'm gonna take the subframe off, the wheels and all the lower part of the engine, now the gearbox, to get to the lower part of the timing, and all we've got to do at the top is take the valve cover off. It's not even called a valve cover, it's called a rocker cover or a camshaft cover. I'm not very well. On the Mark IVs, the anti-sway bar is connected to the control arm, and what you can do is you can upgrade the front end to what the Audi TT fucking hell, man. You can upgrade the front end to what the Audi TT has, and what that is the Audi TT sway bar, which is this one, but the drop link goes up to the strut instead, the suspension strut, but you need to have a little hook on the suspension. But quite a lot of people do. What I've done here is where you have the roll bar attached to the control arm with adjustable drop links, because usually the Mark IV Golf one comes over the top, but when you're lowered it grinds on the top of the drive shaft. But yeah, I've not taken the subframe off for a while, so I'm just trying to work out what I've actually got to do. I know I've got to disconnect this bit, so that's what I'm going to do now, the control arm from the hub. Now that I've disconnected the control arm from the bottom of the hub, while it's still in there and it's a bit solid, I'm going to take out the centre bolt for the drive shafts, just so that I can get the drive shaft off. Especially on this side, this is the side I need to take it off out of the way. I've had this off before, but that seems very, very tight. I'm a bit scared. Now we got to disconnect the dog bone mount, which is 2 16mm. Now I'm going to disconnect the power steering rack, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. And now we're going to take the subframe bolts off, because everything should be disattached. So it's going to be that one there, and then that one there, same on the other side, so there's 4 bolts, and yeah, I'm going to put a jack on it and bring it down on the jack. We'll just loosen it off now. What we're going to do is we're going to remove this drive shaft. I've already loosened the other side, but this one's not been loosened before, so it's going to need quite a bit of leverage. But yeah, we'll get that off. If you haven't subscribed at this point, click subscribe because it just helps me massively. I know when I watch videos, I don't usually subscribe, especially if you like watching on TV, but go through that effort, click the subscribe button. Thank you. Loosen the bolt and whack my car. I'm not going to take the drive shaft out completely, it's loose there and it's knocked through, so I'll easily be able to whack that through when I need to. I'm just going to go whack the other side one through. And excuse the discs, it's literally where the car's just been sat here, but that's just what discs get like when they're out in the weather. Now I'm going to pop both drive shafts off, and then I'm going to work on the bits to get the gearbox out. So what I always do to stop the disc spinning, wedge a screwdriver in there, because then when you turn the drive shaft, the disc can't spin. I've just come back to the car. I had to disappear off to Cheltenham for a bit. I say a bit, like 5 hours, because my friend's car broke down and I had one of those towing frames, so I went and took it to him, helped move the car and stuff, and I'm back. It's now 9:30 at night. Where we left off was taking the second drive shaft off, so that's what I'm going to do. I got my light, I'm going to set it up. I'm not going to do any talking, I'm just going to get on with it and you'll see what I'm doing. Yeah. Right, the drive shaft's out. What I'm going to do is, before I start worrying about taking the gearbox out in the lower end of the engine, so I'm going to start stripping some of the top so I can actually get to the camshaft cover. I've just realised that all my ignition coil and stuff like that needs to come off, so I'm going to have a look at that and see what I can take off. So I've got these blocks of wood. When I take the gearbox out, obviously the engine's not going to be supported, and I don't want to leave my engine brace on it overnight, so I picked these up and I'm just going to have a quick test to see if I've got enough of them. Obviously I'm not going to leave them under there because it'll be in the way getting the gearbox out. It just means that when I do take it out, I don't have to rush to get it back in or anything. I can leave the engine on these blocks and it's not going to put any strain on the gearbox mount. I'd probably say that I need like 4 or 5 more, but they're over in my garage. They can stay there for now. Now I'm going to go back to attacking the top of the engine, because I'm not going to try and get the gearbox out tonight. I'm going to put the top 2 cables separately, and this is also just for my note, but the top 2 goes cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, cylinder 4, cylinder 5. And on here, cylinder 1 is the one at the furthest end, so it's going to go around the engine clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this? Any idea what this is? Can someone tell me if you can see that in the shop? If you heard that, that was the sound of me just emptying my sockets all over the floor. I'm not gutted. No, I'm not gutted. I am gutted. I'm not happy. God, I'm rubbish for basic English. This vlogging should not be for me. But subscribe. Oh, I've dropped my bit. That's not what you want to do in the dark. I want to find out what this part's called. Oh wait, no, the camera's over here. I've moved it. I want to find out what this part's called because it looks like it runs through my cooling system and I can blank it because it's in the way, and if it's not useful and I don't need it, get rid. I need to make sure I remember there's a little earth wire on this bracket. I don't know what that was, but I just fell out the bottom of the car. Right, I need to go back. I'm not entirely sure where this earth wire's come from, but it fell off that bracket and it's connected somewhere else at some point. So, a lot of the stuff I need to get out to be able to get this camshaft side plate off, I think is out. So what I'm going to do now is focus on exposing the top of the gearbox, taking the gearbox linkages off so it's ready to drop down once I bolt and bolt it. I don't know if I'll do that tonight because it means I'll have to make the blocks and do some drilling until quite late, but we'll see how far I get with stripping the top of this out. That little pipe's still connected by this hose. I don't know what it is and I want to try and disconnect it, but I'm also worried I'm going to break it, so I'm trying to be very careful. I've just seen this bracket here needs to come off, but I don't know if that's part of my engine lift, so I don't want to take that off because then I won't be able to crane the engine. Sorry, I'm not in the shot there. I've been looking at this thing trying to work out what it is, and I've just seen this in there. I'm blocking out the lights, I'll get the other light. So I've just seen this, and it's obviously a broken bracket, and it looks like this bit's broken as well. So I have no idea what this was connected to, but it was sat down the bottom of here on this like cup thing. Yeah, I'm gonna find out what this is and then see if I can remove it or not, because I don't really like it sat there. It looks fragile, it looks in the way, but I don't want to remove it before I know what it is. It just looks like coolant goes into the top and passes out the bottom. So, I've done my googling. Apparently this is a coolant circulation pump, and when you shut your engine off, it still circulates the coolant so that it doesn't stop in one place and burn components in the engine. So I think that sounds quite important. And to be fair, probably worth changing looking at the state of it. It's all broken and working out where it's supposed to bracket to. But I'll probably pop that off because it is in the way. I'm just going to do the hose clamps down there, get this out of the way, because I've already drained the coolant. Alright, so this attaches straight to the hose coming out of my bulkhead. Easy. So this was supposed to be a pump that circulates coolant. Cool. These 3 bolts are for the bracket for my gear linkages, just a little reminder to Leon. So what I've quickly described is a bit of cardboard, and what I'm going to do is you've probably seen people do this, and it's very useful to do. So if you haven't seen people do this, at least I've shown you how to do it. But I'm just going to draw a circle. This is like my clutch bell housing. This will be where my starter is. And when I take my bolts off, I'm just going to stab them through, and then I can either label it, but this just shows me the orientation of where they are on the engine. And then any other bolts that I want to label, I'll probably stab through. So the 3 bolts that I just took off for the gear linkage bracket, I'll put on here and label it. They're in there. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. But yeah, something like this, just so I can stay a bit more organised. I know what stuff is and where it goes in the engine. It's not me who come up with that idea, I'm not claiming to be, like loads of people do that. So the 2 bolts on the starter motor, I think they're a 16mm. I'm just gonna grab my socket and see if we can get them off. I've disconnected it all, but this isn't really a how-to on how to take your starter motor off. If you want me to show you how to do things in separate videos, drop comments, but there's not enough of you watching these videos, so just enjoy it while it's there.
I'm not sure the pumper's going to help you. It's not fixed or anything.
No, I can do it. I do not look sexy right now. Let me look sexy. Oh. So we've disconnected the bolts from the gearbox, so the gearbox should be ready to come off now. I'm waiting on a crankshaft locking tool because I don't know, is it a crankshaft locking tool? A flywheel locking tool, because I don't know where my one is. So I'm waiting on that to come. Once we've got the gearbox off, we'll have to stop there. But yeah, we're going to take it off now.
That was not a good look on you. I could see that in the camera. So this is the bolts we've taken out. We've got these ones which are inbound, I like to say, and then we've got the outbound ones. But if you've seen the Humble Mechanic, you've seen people do this before, that's where I got it from. But it's a lifesaver, because ones like these I can put linkage bolts, engine mount, gearbox bracket mount and stuff like that. What have I missed? No, I'm convinced that's it. And I've had this gearbox out so many times, there's nothing that I've missed. You're just moving the whole engine at this point.
I am, but I'm so fucking confused. There it is coming. There you go. Just needed a bit of persuasion. I do talk some shit, don't I?
Some.
Look at that, mate. That box is fucking separated more than most of my relationships. And that. Ooh, is my gearbox removing itself? Look at that, look, new clutch. Single mass clutch. That's as far as we can go, mate. I'll wait for this flywheel lock-in tool. So yeah, bye. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.